We are continuing to explore the various elements of art. In this next set of tutorials, we're going to explore texture, more specifically pattern. Pattern as an example of texture. In the mission's first stage, you should have looked at the video and read about how texture can be used to enhance your designs, and looked at examples of how texture is used throughout art and design. We're going to explore how to create our own custom patterns in Illustrator. We're going to start simple using only the line and shape tools, which we've already learned. Now, why do we want to do this? Again, it is an element of art, which is really important. And two, you can even make money off of creating patterns. I'll put a link in the mission where you can see some marketplaces to where people have created patterns, some simple, some more complex, and are selling them, right? So cool to learn something you can make money off of. So let's get started. If you don't have Illustrator open, please go ahead and open it. And then we're going to create a new document, so Command N for new. And we're going to start this time with a web document. And we're going to choose Web Large, 1920 by 1080. And I'm going to call this Pattern Experiments. I'm going to click Create. That's going to create a new artboard that's 1920 by 1080. And part of it is cut off. I can't see the whole thing. So I want to fit the whole artboard into my screen. So I'm going to hit Command 0. And that's going to fit it into my viewable area. If I click on View, you can see here Fit Artboard in Window, Command 0. That's a shortcut key. This way I can see the whole thing. Now we need to do a couple more things to set this up. One, we need to create two layers and rename them. I'm going to double click on layer 1, right where the words are. I'm going to call this Pattern Experiments. Pattern Experiments, and hit return. I'm going to come down to the new layer icon. It looks like a piece of paper with the corner folded over. I'm going to click on that. Double click where it says layer 2, and I'm going to say Pattern Elements. Oops. Pattern Elements. If I could spell it right, that might help. There we go. Pattern Elements. That gives us two layers that we're going to work on. Next, I'm going to tweak my swatches here a little bit. So I have swatches open, and here's my swatch options. You'll notice I've turned mine on to medium thumbnail view. I find that to be more helpful than small. You can choose to turn that off or keep it small or use medium. I prefer medium. But what I want you to do is select All Unused. That's going to select everything except for white and black and these two options here. And we're going to delete that. So select All Unused, hit the trash can, click Yes. It's going to leave us a clean swatches panel. Because as we create patterns, those new patterns are going to show up here, and it's nice to get rid of all the stuff we're not using on this project. Lastly, before we move on, if we look at our tab, Pattern Experiments, don't worry about the percentage. That's how much it's zoomed in. My screen size is different than yours. Don't worry about that number. But worry about that asterisk right there. That means we haven't saved. So I'm going to do File, Save As, and I'm going to go to Google Drive, CIA. Remember, you're saving to your own folder. And I'm going to come under Projects, create a new folder, call this one Pattern Experiments. Remember, I'm going to grade you on file management. So this should be in your folder in Google Drive for this class. And we've already created it, called it Pattern Experiments. If you forgot to do that, you can name it right now and click Save. And click OK to keep the settings. That's it. Next tutorial, we'll start designing our first pattern.